Hey everybody. So today we're going to be looking at modeling in plasticity for real world objects. The first thing we're going to need is a set of digital calipers to measure the part that you need. But today I'm going to be using a top loader for a Pokemon card or a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Something I've done before for a wall mounted one. But today we're going to make a desk mounted one and just go from there. Making other parts for other things that you need, it's exactly the same process. Just measure out what you need, design it in here, and go from there. So I've got the measurements written down here, so I can go ahead and be straight away. So the height, no, that's the thickness is 75, oof, 0.75, and this is 0.01. Done. The thickness is 1.65. So there we go. That is the top loader. So now we're going to model it around this. Now, this file, once completed, will be onto MakerWorld for absolutely free. And yes, you can sell it. No problem. So on the top loader, it's got a 2mm lip just around, which gives us enough to hold it in place. So let's offset this edge by 2mm. Excuse me. And then we're going to need to select all of these edges here. Shift D to duplicate it. Then offset that first. But drag it out. This is going to be the outer edge of the casing that we're going to put it in. So it doesn't really need to be that big. It can be about 7.5. That's perfectly fine. So now we can use this to start creating. Let's to X-ray mode on and get rid of these drawings. Okay, now that we've got the top loader on the inside and starting of the casing on the outside, we can select this first, this first, and then E for extrude. Pull that up. Let's see, 2.5 millimeters. So like 2.5, and then you press E, so it's a new body. That way, this bit doesn't connect to the top loader and then join everything together. So now with that done, we can connect these outer pieces with Q, enter. There we go. And then we could do similar on the underside. Well, the same actually. So I do that. Extrude down by however much you want. You don't want to pull this down a bit further than you would necessarily think. So there, that's centimeter, which seems to be fine. So press D. Change that to 10, so it's exactly 1 centimeter. There we go. So now we can connect this, and this. With Q. Is that done? Now, if you're wanting to add a fillet or a chamfer to this inside edge, you're better off doing that now, because if you do it a bit later on, it becomes a lot more tedious. So let's do that. There we go. And then same with the outside edge. And now that's that done, we can select the whole body press C for cut, and then use this line here to create the top that's going to be coming out. So the top loader can slide into it. And with that model, we can just hide that one. That's no longer needed. So let's go under here, select all of these edges. Because as with anything, you're going to need to account for the tolerances. Because no printer's going to be able to print it absolutely perfection. There we go. And then let's use minus 0.2 for that. Usually be 0.1, but that'll allow a little bit of extra wiggle room. And then that's that done. So what we can do now is let's just hide this for a minute. Select this face, press spacebar to create a temporary plane. The center rectangle, I'm going to go to the center of this face, so here. Cut out. Let's line it up towards this. There we go. And then we can just extrude that and do it in a joint body with this. And there we go. So now with that sorted, and bring this one back. Select this whole body and move it back into place. But if you move it like that, you could misalign it. So if you press V, that changes the pivot point. You can put it along one of these edges, drag it in, hold Control, and it will snap to wherever you want it to go. And now with that done, you can press this, press Q, select this part to take that connected piece away, but this time we'll press key tools, and then okay. Now we still got everything that we need, but we have now got the connecting piece as well. So we're gonna go make the tolerances this as well. We don't need a bit of extra wiggle room, so we'll go for the standard minus 0.1. That'll create nice friction fit surface interest 4 block. And there we have it. So now, with the enclosure done, we're going to create the stand for the back. So with this, we're going to select both of these bodies, press R for rotate, and just go to the side view and just eyeball it where you want it to be. So I'd say about there. So that's perfectly fine. So now, here comes a bit of a trick here. You're going to need to mess around with this one just a little bit. So Shift A, go line, or you can just simply press it up here. Connect to this bottom corner. Just drag this all the way out. You're not going to need all of it. Yeah, that's fine. And then figure out on this part where you want the back arm to be. So again, Shift A. Let's say I want it here. And I want it to come down to here to hold it in place like a locking mechanism. So there's that. Now, if we press R, then V, and click this bit, and then rotate it to make sure that line stays within this frame. So let's go up here. Yep, it fits. That's absolutely fine. So let's now use this to create the folding arms. So we can just get rid of that one for now, like hide it. Just hide it. And then move Right, let's turn the grid off. Select this. G. Move it. Remember, keep hold of control, and then you can snap it to the middle there. Now, this is something I prefer to do. I mean, you could just draw it out here, and then you're perfectly fine. But you press E to extrude, put it sideways. I'm going to do this by 10 millimeters, and then press tab. So I know that's 2 centimeters wide. And then get rid of that line. Now this is a sheet. It's not a solid. It's simply a sheet. But what you can do with this is just go into face selection mode. Press that. And now press Alt and T to thicken. Then drag that up as much as you like. Now when you do it this way, the sheet is still really there. You want to get rid of that because it'll mess with the body. So there's that part done. And let's bring this part back. Now, we don't want it right on the edge here. I've done a previous version, tried it this way, it ended up being a bit flimsy. So we're going to press G on this, and drag it and line it up with this edge. We're going to press E and do the same again with this. Bring it out sideways. Let's do 2 centimeters again because that's what this part is. That's that. And then we can press in face mode on this edge, then Alt T and bring that out as well. Let's just go for -5. There we go. It's already started to take shape, and yeah, I like it. Now, you'll want to extend this edge into here, and you don't need to mirror this over yet. That's absolutely fine. But now that you've got this, you can select this edge and pull it in so you know exactly where you want it to be. And there we go. So now that's started. Now, with this part, it does get, excuse me, I don't know what's up with me today. It does get a little bit tricky. So, we can take a fair bit out of this if we wanted to. But, you can also just grab this and press full stop to isolate, create a cylinder on this edge. Oh, not the way I wanted it to be. Let's just do that kind of. No, let's not. Let's create a circle side view, going all the way to this edge. Bit selection, and then extrude that out the length of this. Get rid of that. Full body selection mode and GQ. Turn off the keep tools option. That way it's all one piece, you don't have any extra pieces laying around. And now we can get a sphere, put it in the center point here, and pull out. Now you want it to be V, so it's a new body. And then that way you can do that. So a line down this center point. We're going to use that to mirror it over to the other side so we know it's perfect. Now we'll select this, then Alt X, then we'll press F for freestyle. Click anywhere on this line, and then hit any other point on this line. And once it stops being stupid, there we go. Now we can just select this as well. Q, select. There we go. Now that should fit into this here. So what we're going to do here is going to select this, Q, remove this, keep the tool, there. And then we're going to select this, and then press H to hide it. We're going to get rid of the shoot as well. And hide this drawing. Now what you want to do is cut out part of this, so then it doesn't interfere with the movement of that arm. So I'll select this first, pull up. Sometimes things like that can happen. So try that again. Select this, press put forward until there's nothing there. If it just wants to be up, let's just leave it at that for now. All we really need on this bit is this here anyway. So let's select this first. Space. Now we can, with 2-point rectangle, create this part here. Exit this plane. And then extrude this in. Press W so you can see where it's cutting. And there we go. Don't worry about this. We're going to be mirroring it over anyway. So you only need to do it on one side. Now get rid of that rectangle. And put the X-ray mod back on. Bring this back, because we're going to need to see how far this goes up here and how much we're going to need to cut into it. So let's select this, press R for rotate, and V for changing that pivot point. We're going to come to the side view, zoom all the way in, and go to the side of that sphere. And then we can simply rotate it until it looks like it lines up. Oops. Looks like it's going to interfere with its connection point here. So what we can do, let's see, is we can move that further down, come to the bottom, and then pull this face up. Now go back to there, select the whole body, select that, then rotate again around the sphere's pivot point, and let's check it again. So still looks like it's going to interfere, so we'll leave it up here for now. First selection mode, go back to the side, and then we'll drag it down, so about here, so we know it's not going to interfere with that. And then that's that done. So now we'll again rotate, see where the new point is down here that it's going to touch. It doesn't seem like it will. So what we can do with this is we can select all of these faces in here. Let's hide this body. Select all of the faces in here. And then press G to move. And then V to change the pivot point. Let's put it in the center here. And we can move this down. That's one of the brilliant things about plasticity. You can move that point whenever you want. So let's move it to about then. Bring this back. Make this to the same point. So like V on this, so I know it's moving in the right direction. Let's have a look. There we go. Now that is a lot better. So I'll select this whole thing here. Rotate it. Oops. Wrong rotation point. R, V onto the center. Yeah. Swing it down. There we go. We can leave this extra bit at the back here to help with the balance. That's not a problem. So now we can go from here. Rotate it up. You should see about there, so that's not a plugin. They can go underneath and just simply push this face up and let it just get to the top of that. So let's push it up all the way up here. There we go. Now we have the housing for the part that'll slide down. But if I printed it like that, or if you did, it's not going to work. You're going to need the tolerances. And because there's a sphere in here, you might just need a little bit more to create that snapping point. So what we're going to do is we're going to hide this, go in here. Oop, not that one. That one, that one, that one, this one, and this one are going to be minus 0.1 because those will be fine. And then you can do this, or you can do it by a certain amount. I like to just eyeball it here. So then I know whether there's going to be enough squish. Let's bring this part and then slightly push it over. So about the quarter way. There we go. And that's how I prefer to do it. So that's that part done. And then just go ahead and repeat the same thing for the bottom. Because that is going to fold up into here as well. Oh, rotate it on the center. Rotate it up. This won't sit flush because it has to be level down here. So, well, it looks like it's going to overlap there as well. So what we can do is we can move this, all of this slightly to the left. Same way as before. And let's hide there. Select everything. And then press G. And let's set it 2 millimeters. From this part. Actually, move that over 2 millimeters as well. So there we have that. And this should now fit into that with the out clashing with that part. So let's go up in. Expand. There. There we have it. Oh, looks like it's still going to clash with the pivot point on this. We don't exactly need it to be 2 centimeters wide. So let's just track that a bit. So now we'll do about 1.5. And looks like it will no longer clash with that. So there we go, we're fine. Now, let's just work on this part. So I'll select it. Press full stop. Go to the side view. Yeah, same center point circle. And there we go. Same process as before. Select that. Drag it all the way to the edge. If it's in the center, you just drag it all the way to the edge. Press tab. It'll give both sides. So, okay. Press Q. Select this. Then Q again. It's with ball joint. And now we need the sphere to this part. Oh, sometimes it can do this. That's why I prefer to do it as a circle. And it's also why I like to take this off because it sometimes just makes it a little bit easier. Doesn't have to be exact. So let's just make a small one for down here. Didn't need to make it negative, so go back. B. There we go. Now we've already got a line here, so we can just simply hold X, press F for freestyle, and then 2 points on the same line. Q, select this as well. Nope. And okay. That's all one body. Let's bring everything else back. And now we can push it further into that body. But first, we're going to use this profile to cut into it, like where we need. So, there we go. Then we'll come off that temporary plane. Hide this bottom down. Now we can pull it in. Press W and click that, see if you see where it's going. Just drag it in. There we go. And bring this back. Now let's check it. Is it enough? Yeah, it's enough, but we're still going to need to bring it further in anyway. So let's drag this a bit further in. And then move this. Send it to here. Drag it so it's closed in. And that bottom part is in the wall. There we go. So now you should have the housing for that part as well. But we're going to need to make this part, this bottom part disappear for a second, because now that we've moved it, this part doesn't line up either. So try that out. Make sure that's fine. Yeah, that's good. That's more than fine. Let's get it in line with this. Make this disappear and create the offsets on here as well. It's only this part and this part for now. So minus 0.1. There we go. Bring this back. Go to solid selection. Press this. Press Q. And then this. But we need to keep tools again, because we still need to keep this. There we go. I can hide that again. And offset that and that by minus 0.1. And then select these two side faces and just eyeball it like we did with the other. So about there should be fine. Let's have a look. At time, I might just bring this part up so it matches that other one. Yeah, there we go. And that is that. So now what we can do is we can mirror the parts over. So we're gonna take this last part and this top part, because they're gonna stay the same anyway. You need one of these on this side. You need this part on this side as well. So select with solids, both of these, Alt X, and you press to them. So now it's mirrored to the other side, but you want to click this here where it says union halves. Oh, my God, this has been. Let's try again. Alt X, done. Now this and this, QQ, deselect key tools. And there we have it. There is that part all done. Let's bring this back. Now we can bring this back. Now we're going to need to make a latching point on this to make sure it stays stood up when you fold it down. So we'll select this, go to the side, rotate it. wrong one. Rotate, wait, true style, rotate, V, in this point, and ready down. So it's flat. Don't worry about its large edge point. We can just create a little offset on it and then it'll be perfectly fine. So it's got level. It does not look like it. So let's check this further out for fine control. No. That looks like it should be fine. We can do the same for is it is and this. So rotate V and then around. You don't want it so it's like down here. You want it so it's out here. So this point just below this surface. And there we go. That's how it's going to stand and how it's going to look. So that it's fine to me. Now let's create the bar that goes across here. That's going to anchor it down. Let's get rid of this side for now and this part for now. Press this face, spacebar. All good. Select a circle. Select on this point and go up this center point here. Create circle. Let's say the full width. That'll be perfectly fine. And bring this part back. Turn off that temporary plane. Now we can drag this all the way along. It doesn't matter where you drag it because it's all going to be joined to the same thing anyway. Sometimes though, if there's no overlap, it doesn't like joining. So let's just grab this back in a bit. Check this, and this. Q2. There we have it. Now that should work perfectly fine. And if we bring this part back, we can see where it's going to go in here. So we can just press this, Q, select this, and key tools. With that, we can now hide this part. Because you do a little bit of work on this just to give it a bit of clearance. Just pull this in slightly. Now that's that done. It's perfectly fine to go on here. That's that done. That's the main body done. That's the lid done. The only thing left to do is grab this, go to the side, select it with the full body, rotate, V to select this part, and bring it down. But yeah, there we go. So now we can create a cut out for this little section here. It doesn't have to be perfect. So what you can do is just click on this face, space bar, and then create a rectangle going from there to go. That's fine. Come off this plane. This, let's go in, keep all the control. Because it's in X-ray mode, you can snap it to the same point as both of these. Press W and select this. So now that has created a little housing for this as well. With that, that is this part. Go. And now anything after this, oh wait, not wide on. Nice. This edge, go to the side, and pull it in. So this part is just below here. We have it. It's there. Got to select that part at the same time, so do this and I'm just got to eyeball it. Oh, that'll do. So now that should work absolutely perfectly. And at this point, anything else after this, you want to add a little decoration up top, you can add some decoration up top, bottom, same again. And with that, I'll see you later. Don't forget, this model is going to be absolutely free on MakerWorld, so I'll drop a link in the comments where you can find that. And yeah, see you later.